Hudson City Court, none. Omnibus 6026, Glendora versus Chase Banks, and quite a few judges and clerks. Send another $100 to the Des Moines Court in Iowa for Glendora versus James L. Dolan, Omnibus 25, done. The Harrison Court. That will be done as soon as I report it to you on TV in a few moments. And there's 6 more to be done this week. Harrison Court. It is going to Judge Anthony Scarpino, surrogate for the County of Westchester. Patricia Langelotti, who did not stand up for America but caved into fully Cablevision. The Clerk of the Court, Town Court of Harrison, New York, Westchester County. Great American hero, Elena Sassower, and Elena, you read it or it's goodbye. George McDermott, Great American Hero in Washington, D.C. Read it or goodbye. Friend in White Plains, read it or goodbye. And David A. Singer, some kind of relationship as a lawyer to Langelotti. And to the judge, John M. Vogt, Town Court, Town of Harrison. Welcome, folks, to the 17th consecutive day of sunshine. Welcome to the prettiest time of the year. The leaves are coming off. Yesterday, a little bit the day before, and today. Isn't it exhilarating? I thought I would videotape in a different spot of our 3-acre estate here so you could enjoy its peace and its beauty and its happiness. We have here a bunch of rot from the Town Court of the Town of Harrison, County of Westchester, State of New York, Glendora plaintiff against Patricia Langelotti, defendants. And there was a docket number on it, but there is no such case. Okay, the case is Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan. Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, Mac Udil, Thomas Garger, Charles A. Former, Christine Savarino, Cecilia Masterilli, Peggy Anderson, Robert N. Callaghy, Satterley, Stevens, Burke and Burke, and Patricia Langelotti, defendants. This is the court's first paper, and the court is wrong in not listing all defendants, all parties. First paper out of court has to list all parties. So this is really bogus from the very first word of the caption. So, plaintiff commenced the action to secure damages in the amount of $3,000 on a claim that, quote, Cablevision had violated her public access rights and the money it has cost her to get my rights back. That's not exactly what I said. I said that Cablevision took my program off the TV in Harrison and in many other places, and it cost me a whole lot of money to find other signers to get the program back on again. That's what I said. And so I wanted to be compensated for that amount of money, $3,000. Actually, it amounts to much more than $3,000, but that's the monetary limit of town courts in the state of New York. That's their monetary limit. Jurisdiction. Mrs. Patricia Langelotti resides at 29 Adelphi Avenue in Harrison, New York. She encountered plaintiff at the Harrison train station on Thursday, February 26, 2004. The plaintiff approached Mrs. Langelotti and asked her to be a signer for her cable TV show. Mrs. Langelotti felt sorry for her and told her she would sign what Mrs. Langelotti thought was merely a petition. A few weeks later, Mrs. Langelotti received in the mail from Cablevision an application for sponsorship of a program entitled A Chat with Glendora. Mrs. Langelotti, having never agreed to sponsor any program, called Glendora as a matter of courtesy and left a message on Glendora's answering machine that she misunderstood Glendora and that she would not agree to sponsor her cable TV show. Shortly thereafter, Glendora telephoned Mrs. Langelotti, threatening to sue her for a breach of oral contract if she did not sponsor Glendora's program. Here are in 3 lies. I will correct them for you in a moment. After careful review of all papers submitted, the court finds as follows. Glendora's assertion that defendant was bound by an oral contract is frivolous and without merit. There was never any contract expressed or implied. Even if Mrs. Langelotti promised to be a sponsor, she received no consideration whatever from Glendora for such a promise. Defendant Patricia Langelotti did have the right to change her mind. There are 5 lies in there, and I will address those very shortly. In response to Glendora's assertion that Mrs. Langelotti agreed to be a local resident signer, there is nothing stated in her complaint equating signer with sponsor and the responsibility and liability that may come along with such sponsorship. This is a bunch of rot. Accordingly, the court finds no basis for this action and dismisses this matter with prejudice. Enter John M. Voach, Town Justice, dated April 1st, 2005, Harrison, New York. Copy, carbon copy. You don't do this in legal papers. You have a service list, not carbon copy. Glendora plaintiff and Patricia Langelotti defendant. And here is another fatal defect of this Voach paper. If he wrote it at all, I just don't believe he did. Another fatal defect is that he did not serve all parties. All right, now let's go after this. How do you do it? You got a nice, great, big 9 by 12 envelope, and you address the whole matter in public. We don't have anything sotto voce here. You address the whole matter in public, where everybody on the postal trail from Albany to Harrison can read it. Now, Glendora says, memorandum to the court opposing untitled paper of April Fool's Day, 05, Alpha. The law is the law. Rule 2219, Civil Practice Law and Rules, Article 22 says that. A motion must be decided by the court within 60 days after it has been submitted. That's the law. A motion must be decided by the court within 60 days after it has been submitted. The court, says Glendora, paper of April Fool's Day does not deal with the issue of the plaintiff Glendora's notice on the Ides of March, year 2005, notice to the court and to all defendants that plaintiff Glendora has won all the relief she sought in her motion of July 4th, 2004, and of Pearl Harbor Day of 2004 by the Civil Practice Laws and Rules, a statute of the state of New York, Rule 2219. A judge has 60 days to rule on a motion, and if the judge does not, the movement, Glendora, gets the relief sought. The court proffers no meritorious defense for its defiance of CPLR 2219. Meritorious defense is codified in CPLR 3711. No meritorious defense. CPLR, again, is the Civil Practice Laws and Rules, a statute of the state of New York. Beta. If Langelotti does not pay the $500 plus 9% statutory interest since July 4th, 2004, Glendora will sue her in another court. Gamma. The same applies to defendants Charles F. Dillon and Truth Satellite. Delta. Glendora won her relief long before the court dismissed. Dismissal is adiaphoris. It means it isn't good or it isn't bad. It's nothing. Glendora takes exception to the court's acting as Langelotti's defense attorney. Upon information and belief, Glendora suspects this April Fool's Day paper was written by Langelotti's defense attorney, David A. Singer. And the judge signed it. Wolfsinger, Langelotti, and Cablevision, who could produce no Carmody weight proof that they were authorized to represent Charles F. Dolan through Anderson, and therefore backed out, had ample time and ample notice to approve Glendora's ardent and arduous arguments July the 4th through February the 5th, and failed, even as did this court. Let me just go over that again. I don't think that Laura McQuaid, standing in for Robert Callaghy, standing in for Satterley, Stevens, Burke & Burke law firm at 230 Park Avenue, the Pan Am building, I do not think that they had Carmody weight authorization to represent my defendant, Charles F. Dolan, through Peggy Anderson. I don't think they did. And so I think they just, when I faced him with that, I think they just backed down. We never heard from him again. Langelotti should have appeared pro se. She did not need an attorney. It was money wasted. The clerks in the court over this abominable 6-month procrastination were worse than useless. Call in 3 days, they said. Call next week, they said. Ad infinitum. This is Criminal Code 18 U.S. Code Section 1505, obstruction of justice. Epsilon. Glendora acted in good faith. Langelotti did not. Glendora said to her exactly the way it is. I said to her, Cablevision will not cablecast my TV show unless I have a local resident sign the application. Will you sign it? Langelotti had no cause to think it was a petition. Hers was the only signature on the 3 pages she signed. You have a choice. Either she is lying or she's addled. Everything said by Glendora and Langelotti is on audio tape, and tapes do not lie. There was a meeting of the minds in New York State. An oral contract is as valid as a written contract. Glendora could not give Patricia any consideration for signing. This is against public access law, federal, state, and municipal. She agreed because she wanted Cablevision to cablecast her TV program. Singer never wrote a grown-up legal paper, just a schoolboy letter. Zeta. There was need for Cablevision to send Patricia. There was no need for Cablevision to send Patricia anything in the mail. Glendora had already sent Patricia's papers to Cablevision. Rico, that they are. This is how Cablevision, Masterilli, and Savarino, public access enemies number 1 and 2, used extortion to cut the cost of public access and steal the channel to sell ads. Now, this is as far as this goes on April the 20th, 2 days since Patriots Day in the year 2005. Yours in truth, and in Amor Patriae, Glendora, and the rest is continued inside. And here it tells them that their program number about this is on the internet, and the number of that program is what? 4068, edition 6. So now we go inside and continue this. And here, folks, is page 3. And simultaneously, they scared off another signer in another system, and that signer is in another court. And that's not all. They scared off the Yonkers signer, Nan Vario, the same way. And Glendora's going to keep suing you, Cablevision, until you stop doing it. You're going to keep, every time you chase off a signer with your extortion and with your phony contract, which is nothing but bullyism, it has no statutory authority. Every time you do that, Cablevision, you're going to be sued. And the person that you backs down, who signs and backs down, is going to be sued until we get this thing straightened out. Langelotti did not have to be so rude and Neanderthal. If she had taken the time to listen, Glendora could have shown her that the Cablevision papers were nothing but a harassment, and that they were extortion, and that they had no statutory basis. It's a hoax, and she was a patsy to be signed, Patsy Patricia, by the bully corporates. Glendora had signers all over, about 20 of them, and has had since Cablevision started this RICO, Racketeer Influence Crime Organization, 5 years ago as a scare to get rid of the cost of public access, which is mandated by Congress, the New York State Legislature, and the municipalities. Nothing Cablevision has in those 6 pages has any standing in any court. It is rank bullyism, and superficial thinkers like Lancelotti are suckered into it. Nothing bad has ever happened to any of Glendora's signers, except those who double-crossed her. Then they get sued. If they keep their word and act as good Americans, they don't get sued. Nothing bad has ever happened to Glendora's signers all over the place, a huge number of them. Nothing bad has ever happened to a signer who kept the word. Court's words of April Fool's Day are conclusory, they are without evidence, they are without proof, and they are hearsay. Indeed, they are hearsay within hearsay. John Vogt has no personal knowledge of what anybody did or said. A few weeks later, Mrs. Lancelotti received in the mail from Cablevision an application for sponsorship of a program entitled A Chat with Glendora. Glendora did not threaten. Glendora merely stated that she was suing Lancelotti. And Lancelotti said, over the phone to me, and there's the audio tape of this, then I'll sign. I did not press that, because to me that sounded like extortion. Glendora never pursued this promise, but this was a second breach by Lancelotti. Ada, after careful review of all papers submitted, the court finds as follows. I do not believe that John Vogt carefully reviewed the papers. I submitted to John Vogt at least 600 pages. I do not believe that he carefully reviewed them. If he had carefully reviewed them, and if he had been honest, there was no other way he could have ruled, except against Cablevision and against Lancelotti. Glendora's assertion that defendant was bound by an oral contract is frivolous and without merit. To this, Glendora says, this April Fool's Day paper written by this court or by somebody is frivolous and without merit. New York court, yea, the unified New York State court system is supposed to list all papers read. John Vogt should have listed all of the papers that he read. Theta, there was never any contract expressed or implied. Well, even as Mrs. Lancelotti promised to be a sponsor, this court writes, she received no consideration whatsoever from Glendora for such a promise. Defendant Patricia Lancelotti did have the right to change her mind. 3 things here, folks. A, the court gives no grounds for never any contract expressed or complied. There was a contract. And what are the court's grounds for saying that there were not? They aren't here, are they? The statement is mere dictum. It isn't based on fact, and it isn't based on law. Lancelotti, this is the second thing, never promised to be a sponsor. She promised Glendora to be a signer. Glendora never asked her to be a sponsor. Nobody can be a sponsor. Nobody can be responsible for anything that Glendora does or says except Glendora. For anything Glendora does or says on public access. And the law is very clear on that. Title 47, the United States Code, the Cable Policy Act of 1984, codified as 47 U.S. Code Section 521 et sequitur, makes it very, very clear that it is Glendora, the public access producer, who indemnifies Cablevision. Nobody else is responsible except the public access producer. If people knew the law, Cablevision would not get by with its bullyism. Well, they are not going to get by with it. With Glendora, if Lancelotti had only been civilized and polite, she could have understood all of this, and Lancelotti was being used as a pawn by Cablevision. She could have had a great moment of Americanism. All you had to do, Lancelotti, was to listen instead of hanging up, which is rude anyhow. No consideration is allowed in public access. Nobody can make money on public access. Nobody can get a perk or a gift or consideration. It's against the law, John Boach. It is the law, federal, state, and municipal. People should know that by now. No money passes, no consideration, no perks, no gifts in public access. Now, John Boach says or whoever his ghostwriter is, says that she had the right, Langelotti, to change her mind within 48 hours. She had the right to change her mind. About 48 hours and then some passed. She did not have the right to change her mind. There was a meeting of the minds. Glendora said, Cablevision will not cablecast her TV show unless a local signer, a local resident, signs the application. That's all I said to her, and she said she would do it. That was a meeting of the minds. This court should be protecting the rights of pro se litigants, not bulldozing them. Now, go back to hello.com. It's all right, honey. The court says, in response to Glendora's assertion that Mrs. Langelotti agreed to be a local resident signer, and that's not true. Oh, yes, that is true. In response to Glendora's assertion that Mrs. Langelotti agreed to be a local resident signer, there is nothing stated in her complaint equating signer with sponsor. You bet there isn't. There's no such thing as a sponsor. There's no statutory basis for requiring one, and there can't be a sponsor. Nobody can be responsible, as I said, except Glendora. And the responsibility and liability that may come along with such sponsorship. There is no such thing. No way, and it never has been, can Cablevision enforce this bunch of junk that they extort people into signing. No way can they enforce it in this way. Glendora is unambivalent about signer and sponsor. A signer Langelotti can be, a sponsor she cannot be. It is not a legal entity, and it has no statutory authority. Accordingly, the court finds no basis for this action and dismisses the matter with prejudice. Glendora says, dictum, no grounds, no statutory authority, frivolous, and without merit. Enter John M. Boach, Town Justice, and Jen Glendora says, no justice. And it's signed April 1st, 2005, and Glendora notes that this is April Fool's Day, and it says here, Glendora plaintiff, CC, and Patricia Langelotti defendant. He should have had a service list, and he should have served all parties. Now, Glendora says, Glendora will keep suing Cablevision until some judge has the integrity and the allegiance to the Pledge of Allegiance to stop Cablevision's mercenary defiance of public access rights. This court violated Glendora's right to jury trial, New York State analog to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 38, jury trial shall be held and violate. That is not the color purple. Glendora demanded jury trial. No evidence was presented, no jurors were sworn, no testimony was given under penalty of perjury. Glendora's due process of law was denied. That's pretty bad. That can be very, very serious. Omicron. In her new court, Glendora will demand discovery. And of course, John Boach will be a defendant. It will be a civil rights case under color of state, Title 42 in the United States Code 1983, Civil Rights, and Section 1985, conspiracy. A civil rights case can be brought in any federal court all over the United States of America. Let's see, I could sue them in North Dakota. I could sue them in New Hampshire. Pi, this is paragraph titled Pi. Pi r squared, the teacher said. No, the student said. Pi r round. If time, Glendora will bring a judicial misconduct and disability complaint against John Boach, except that Glendora has already won her cause. Further, this is an appealable order if Glendora has not already won. Why'd you say that, Glendora? You've already won. With prejudice, says Boach, is right. It reeks with prejudice. There is no law, and there are no facts, just prejudice. John Boach was asked to be a signer. He declined, but he got a friend of his to sign. And this friend has become my friend, and he is a good signer. He doesn't have to do anything as a signer. Nothing bad will happen to him, as long as he doesn't double cross. Glendora strongly suspects ex parte and collusion between Boach and singer Langelotti. This is David A. Singer. She hired as a lawyer. Singer and Langelotti never responded to my notice, but the court did. Isn't there something pretty funny about that? Singer never said to the court that he opposed this notice. No. The next thing you hear from is the court. Oh, come on. It's not hard to add 2 and 2 and get 5, is it? Why didn't the court also protect stolen Cablevision? Cablevision owes Glendora also $3,000 plus 9% statutory interest. Glendora did not have to write this paper. She did it as a courtesy. She has won by law her relief, all of it. The next time Cablevision takes her show off the TV, they owe her $800,000. That was in her release to the Harrison Court. The next time they take it off, and every other time they take it off, pay $800,000 fine. Just as every law has a remedy, a way out, and this is Uniform Commercial Code section, Article 1, Section 207. Glendora proffers Langelotti a way out. When Glendora gets the $500 plus 9% statutory interest, Glendora will probably give it back to Pat. She doesn't want to hurt Pat because Glendora has been both rich and poor, and frankly, I like poor better. And if Pat will tell Cablevision that she wants now to be a signer, Glendora has Pat's signed papers, the attest copy, proof copy, we'll submit them again. And if Pat will stand up to the bully monopoly and stand up for the public's right to have access to TV, the public, airwaves, and the cables are strung along the public's right away. The public has a right to access TV. Glendora will certainly give Pat back all her money. Cy is reserved. And a fortiori, with the greater force and all the more, even more certain and necessary, under penalty of perjury, Glendora has said what she meant and has meant what she said, and has told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help her God. Defendant Singer, Langelotti, and this court, and of course Cablevision, Goldman, Peggy Anderson, Sadly, Stevens, Burke, and Callahan have not. You have 60 days to pay. Dated April the 20th, 2005, Anno Domini, County of Columbia, State of New York, yours in truth, and in Amor Patriae. Without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code, Article 1, 207, Glendora. A chat with Glendora on 45 TV stations, 450 municipalities, including Washington, D.C., and on the internet at www.chatwithglendora.com. And this will be program number 4068, edition 6. It took 8 hours. It's Opus, legal paper number 1266, and it took $13.58 to print, post, and travel.
So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? What's the struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible. I read it. It ain't hoops. But it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
Glendora, program number 4069. The 7th edition on April the 21st, 2005, Anno Domini, the year of Glendora, cheerful look at life.
I've got a great job. Money in the bank.
And it took $13.58 to print, post, and travel.
I've got a great job. Money in the bank. Last month, someone asked if I read the Bible. The Bible? I'm successful. I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? What's the struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it. The Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible. I read it. It ain't hoops. But it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
Glendora, program number 4069. The 7th edition on April the 21st, 2005, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. Glendora, cheerful look at life. 2 minutes of goodwill, good cheer, and good humor brought to you by. Your school days are the happiest days of your life if your kids are old enough to enroll. And if you can keep your head when everybody else all around you is losing theirs, it could be that you're the cause of it all. And here's some friendly advice. When you're at an auction, never wave to a friend. And did you ever notice that no two people ever think alike? Except when it comes to wedding presents. Send not for whom the bell tolls. You'll get the bill soon enough. Misers are no fun to live with, are they, folks? But they make wonderful ancestors. And in spite of what you read in the newspaper, people do not die in alphabetical order. Billionaire advice: how to be rich and powerful. 1, rise early. 2, work hard. And 3, strike oil. Ed says what bothers him about the airlines is that he cannot afford to fly to Paris, to fly to Rome, to fly to Hong Kong. But his luggage has been to all three. Two old ladies got on the plane and they asked the stewardess, "Is this flight faster than sound?" And the stewardess says, "No, not this one." And the little old lady says, "Oh, good, because we want to talk." Happy Book. Call for a free Glendora Happy Book. We want to see you happy. And these are some very good first steps to being happy. Happiness lesson. 1. Spend your time alone with God every day. Touch that oneness that is inside of you, that greatness, and that wealth, and that wisdom, and that happiness, and that joy, and that peace. Your oneness with God, and lead others to be one with God. The accomplishment, the achievement, the satisfaction, the attainment. Spend your time alone with God. And when you're walking around doing things with your hands, like driving a car and not using your head, count pure thoughts. 1. This is the time of the year that we wait for all the year long. From November, October, the leaves are coming out. 2. God is a great creator. 3. Let's pray for somebody. Think of somebody who is unhappy or who is unhealthy. Think of that person and pray for that person to find the oneness of God and to lead others to find the oneness of God. Pray for your enemies. Pray for that they be happy, whole, and healthy, and all their present blessings continue. What else can we do? Let's see. Pure thoughts, we did that. And pray for your enemies and count your blessings. And don't think about anything ugly, trivial. Pure thoughts, no negative thoughts, no second level thoughts, no trivial thoughts, no ugly thoughts. This is the Happiness Show. This is the Happiness House. This is the Happiness website. Let's see, anything else to tell you about? I think there were a couple of bulletins. Call me up and tell me how many pure thoughts you got today. See if you can beat me. Bulletin, does anybody want to subsidize the chat with Glendora? It cannot continue to spend the money that it does. It cost $4,000 in the year 2004 to keep the chat with Glendora. That money is not coming in, so it cannot continue that way. Does anybody want to subsidize the chat with Glendora at $200 a week? And this is so funny. .com was outdoors, a kitty cat. And she was out there for quite a while. And I was doing the cleaning up the happy house. And I put her litter pan outside in the sunshine to sanitize. I thought that would be kind of fun. And keep it nice and clean. And she was out there with the litter pan. And she came in the house and she started to complain because the litter pan wasn't in the bathroom where it usually is. And she would not use it outdoors. She had to come in the house to use it. .com so happy. She's such a happy cat in the happy house. Folks, I have a collection of maybe 100 judges and clerks who are sort of disgusting fugitives, but I think Gino Agnello and Joe and Flom of the 7th Circuit, Chicago, I think they should get the prize. These papers were sent to them for various afflictions they caused, and they don't want anybody to have a record of them. They don't want them to be seen by the public. They don't want them to go into the archives. they have to cover up their violations of Americanism. And so they try to do this by sending the whole thing back to you, and that's what kangaroo courts do. They boomerang these things. So we will just take all these with our annotations here of their refusal to file petitions and their obstructions of justice and their violation of public laws and their lying and their covering up and all of these other criminal violations. Many, many counts. And we would just put them in this great big envelope and send them back to them. With this explanation on the front that everybody on the postal trail from New York to Chicago can read. And the internet too, and of course you, the all-American public. And it says that Flom and Agnello continue their fugitivism. Flom and Agnello do not know that if a case is withdrawn, it cannot be dismissed. How can you dismiss a case that's been withdrawn? Not only is it dumb, it's just plain dishonest. It's just plain crooked. The Fourth Circuit knows the difference between dismissed and withdrawn. Why can't the Seventh Circuit? And on the back we reproduce this letter from the Fourth Circuit in Richmond, Virginia, which says you have filed a motion to voluntarily dismiss the appeal, and you are given 15 days from the date of this letter to state in writing whether or not you wish the appeal dismissed. If no objection is received by that date, we will dismiss the case. Now, why can't the Seventh Circuit do that? Well, I've told you why. Flom and Agnello have been sued in several courts for violations of multiple federal criminal and civil statutes. They are being sued again. Glendora is trying to discern how to sue them in small claims court. Can you figure that out? To get back her $105 because she withdrew the appeal because of federal court, appeals court incompetence. Now, how can she get back her $105 cost and disbursement? Everybody. This is going to be posted on the internet on this program, which is 4069, the 7th edition. Very appropriate for the 7th Circuit. 7th Circus. We have 11 circuses in the U.S. You are invited to participate in the happiness contest. 90 words or less, write a paper on happiness. The address is Box 124, Ghent, New York. Decision of the judges is final. It's open to all ages. It's a real contest of skill. And the closing date is May 2nd. Midnight, May 2nd. Everything is to be postmarked midnight, May 2nd. Isn't that nice? And in spite of what you read in the newspapers, what is it? In spite of what you read in the newspapers, people do not, what? Die in alphabetical order. Take courage, and that's the 6th legal paper out of 10. 6 more to go. I took care of White Plains. White Plains City Court just sent back the money order of $30 in an empty envelope with no explanation at all. And so they don't... Okay, so I sent them a self-addressed stamped envelope, White Plains City Court, and I sent them a letter. I sent all a letter asking him to send me the application for small claims action. So 6 out of 10 are done. He's such a beautiful kitty cat.
Thursday, 10:55 a.m. Glendora, Taylor Holbrook here. I quoted you in my sermon on Sunday. Just as you reminded me to think about God every 15 minutes. You took that to heart and lived that out. Your essay on happiness, I would quote the Apostle Paul. I've learned the secret of contentment. I've been in plenty and in want. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. There is happiness. Okay. Just wanted to say hi. I had your name on my list from calling me sometime, but you are loved and remembered fondly at Hopewell. Okay. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you, the Reverend Taylor Holbrook.
The Reverend Taylor Holbrook, pastor of Hopewell Reformed Church. Every 15 minutes, it's rejoice. You rejoice about something every 15 minutes. You got 4 minutes here. Folks, what are you going to rejoice about? There's a hint. There's a hint. How about rejoicing about the 16th consecutive day of sunshine? Here's another nice message.
2:16 p.m. Hey, Glendora, Tony speaking. I'm returning your call. I see on vacation, but I got your message. I thought I'd give you a hug. Bye. Thank you. End of messages. Anthony Scarpino, surrogate for the Westchester County Court. All messages.
I will call Anthony on Monday when he comes back from his vacation. Now, which legal paper do you want to do next? This is Dominguez, a United States District Judge in Puerto Rico. Those are done. This is the Rye Court, the Rye City Court. That's this tape. You see this tape in here? Try to listen to this tape of the court proceeding, Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan and Cablevision Systems Corporation. And then we have 2 related ones, the Maroney, the lawyer's answer to Maroney's lawsuit, Cablevision, Long Island, the lottery. And here's the last one. We're going to sue Arthur D. Spat, who cannot see that a lottery violates first come, first served. Poor Spat. So which one do you want to do first? Let's call Jim Bernass and see what he says.
Lieutenant King, please. Hold on. Diane speaking. Hi, Diane. It's Glendora. Hi, how are you? Good. Do you know that misers are no fun to live with, but they make wonderful ancestors? That's cute. That's very cute. Very cute.
I call the Harrison Town Court, County of Westchester, State of New York. What does it cost to appeal an order from the town court to the appellate term. It's $5. So just write a notice of appeal, put in a $5 money order, and it goes to the appellate term, 9th and 10th Judicial District.
Yeah, that's the difference. Okay. And in spite of what you read in the newspaper, people do not die in alphabetical order. That is cute. You made my day, Glendora. Oh, that's it.
Well, my kitty cat went out 15 minutes before curfew last night and stayed out until 11:30. 2 hours and a quarter, my kitty cat was out in the dark. It's not my kitty cat. I'm waiting to find the person whose kitty cat this is. And so I stayed up and I read the Rifkin and Radler, the liar for hire for Cablevision, and I read their motion to dismiss Burness's lawsuit on the basis that the federal court has no jurisdiction. Well, that's wrong, because Title 47 of the United States Code, Section 521 at Secretary says right at the top that public access shall be administered on a first-come, first-served basis. And so it's a federal question, and therefore SPAT and the Eastern District of New York do have jurisdiction. And then Rifkin and Radler is trying to get Cablevision out of this by telling SPAT that it should be decided by the Public Service Commission. Well, that is specious. Also, Glendora proved that she has a private right of action and that she can go to federal court with this, and that was in Glendora versus Cablevision in 1994. And Glendora won. Now, and also there's very, very good testimony in this April 1st, this was on February the 18th. On this February 18th discussion in the courtroom of Arthur D. Spatt, there's very good evidence here by people who have tried to get relief from the Public Service Commission, and they just don't do their work. They don't answer you. Months, years go by. They just don't answer. They're out joyriding to lunches and golf games and trips paid for by the cable operators in the state of New York. I mean, it's so obvious that the Public Service Commission, Flynn and his gang and the guy before him, they were all bought out by Cablevision. Stephen Shea, John Figliosi, they're all owned by Cablevision. Chad Hume, Thomas Isabella, they're all owned by Cablevision. Okay? They're sold. And then here is the transcript of what the people said. And the people said very good things. So what did it take? Oh, it took about 5 hours to read this. And that was legal paper number 8, Maroney. Glendora is going to do something about this. Legal paper number 9 is Glendora is getting ready to sue Arthur Spatt because he denied Burness's lawsuit on first come, first served. In fact, Spatt never even dealt with the issue. He dismissed the case without even dealing with the big issue of first come, first served. And he never dealt with the other big issue that Cablevision is conducting a game of chance. A lottery is a game of chance. And that's illegal. And how can you have first come, first served when you choose the programs by a lottery? Now, Glendora first came in 1993 to Cablevision, and she was first served with the time slot of 10 p.m. Friday night. This belongs to Glendora so long as she lives. And she's lived a long time. She's 77 years old this May 1st. And Spatt, nor the others, do they deal with it. The first come, first served means that. You can stand out in the cold and the rain all night to get your time slot at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you don't have to, because I already have it, and I will have it, and nobody else can have it, unless I let them. So we're getting around to suing, I think, Arthur Spatt. I think, first of all, we will write an objection to his the paper that the law clerk wrote for him, the ghost writer, the amanuensis. First we will take that apart, and there's many, many, many objections. He obviously has a link with Cablevision. He's obviously at their dinner table or wherever, but Arthur's back, and he himself let a few things out that is evidence of that. So there's a lot to say about this. So .com, did we make it clear that the Maroney paper that the Cablevision Lawyers for Hire sent to Maroney, that paper was legal paper number 8 of this week, and legal paper number 9 of this week is to do something about Arthur Spatt violating my right to first come, first serve, and to no editorial control, and to no limiting and prohibiting. Let me jot that down on Spatt's jot thoughts here. And you figure out, folks, you figure this one out. How does anybody do anything, write any legal paper with a cat sitting on it? I will appeal John Vogt, Harrison Town Court, Glendora versus Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation. I will appeal that. The order was alleged to have been entered on May the 1st. Excuse me, April the 1st, April Fool's Day. So I have 30 days to appeal that, and so this is the 22nd. Let's go on that. We'll send him a notice of appeal, and we'll send him $5. And it goes to the appellate term. 9th and 10th, Chester District. You can always say for The Chat with Glendora, it has a happy ending. Everybody's glad when it's over. I have decided to sue Arthur D. Spatt, United States District Judge, Eastern District of New York, in Long Island, for violating atrociously our public access rights. In Bernass versus Cablevision, about how the lottery is ruining first come, first serve. You know, it's obvious that it's ruining first come, first serve. And also that Cablevision is doing a game of chance, which is illegal, and it's also in the federal court, it's illegal to transport gaming paraphernalia across the state border. He did not even address those issues, and he dismissed the case. He's wrong about a whole lot of things. You can see that he's very friendly with Cablevision, and I think he should have recouped. So a whole lot of things, and I have started that. And this is the first 8 pages, I guess. And I go through the whole thing of Cablevision violating public access. Oh, I see. That is your bed, right? That's her bed. Now what do? Will you sit in my lap? I can't violate her domain. Well, I'll turn off the, well, this is good. This is an acephalous picture. You know what acephalous means? It means without a head. It's cute, isn't it? was I going to talk to you about? I forgot. Let's try coming in a little closer. And down. That's my big paper clip. And also, folks, I have decided to appeal the untitled and ill-captioned paper of April Fool's Day by John Vogt, Town Justice for the Harrison Town Court. I decided to appeal it. Where am I going to sue SPAC? It will be in the United States District Court, District of Rhode Island. And there is a cat sitting on SPAC. And that's the end of the videotaping, I guess. 10 for a free Glendora Happy book. This is like the days of live television. I started out on television, everything was live. They learned how to handle everything, but they never got a second chance. But here is the Glendora Happy book. Call for a free copy because Glendora wants you to be happy. It's really kind of easy to be happy. The first thing you do is spend your time alone with God. You take your little notebook and your pen and write down things. And you find out all kinds of things, and you do this every single day. And then the rest of the day when you're working, I have to get behind the camera here. Can't do this practice. Count pure thoughts. You know, a cat is a wonderful thing. The cat is a beautiful creation. God cares because God carefully built the cat. Thank you, God, for the 18 days of consecutive sunshine that we had. Thank you, God, for television. Thank you, God, for public access. And we will stand up and we will protect public access. You think I can go back now and sit on the blanket? I think it's too late. Program's almost over. That's your wolf fun. And what else do you do to be happy? Want to see your wolf blanket? Nice blanket. I think when you see people, instead of going to see them and saying to them, you know, how are you? You say to them, what's the happiest thing that happened to you today? You pray for people. You want to see my pray list for this week? And you sing hymns. That's the one for this week. First thing I do in the morning is pray for Bill Budrow and Celeste and Billy. And then for each person I pray for, I sing them a hymn. Let's see.
had a great job. Money in the bank. Last month, someone asked if I read the Bible. The Bible? I'm successful. I'm happy. What do I need the Bible for? I can get more from the Wall Street Journal. But that made me curious. So I decided to take a second look.
I'm on my feet all day. When I go home, I just want to turn on the TV and relax. But read the Bible? All those these and thous and begats? Who wants to struggle with that after waiting on customers all day? But then a friend showed me this version written in modern English, and I was surprised.
This guy I play hoops with said I should start reading it, the Bible. Man, I said, I don't need no Bible. I mean, it just ain't cool. So he goes, I read it all the time. And he beat me by 20 points. So he gives me his Bible. I read it. It ain't hoops. But it ain't bad.
What's your excuse? Before you make an excuse to avoid reading the Bible, stop. Take a second look. Pick up the Bible for 5 minutes, and you may pick it up for a lifetime.
The person I pray for, I sing him a hymn. Let's see. Lord God, I wonders one with thee. Fill their hearts with joy and peace. Let them each thy love possessing. Triumph in redeeming grace. Oh, refresh them, traveling through this universe. .com never talks, but she just now did the silent meow. She goes, here are a couple of things too. I made a note to tell you. Glendora is going to sue after D-SPAC. Glendora is going to appeal John Vogt to Harrison Town Court. The suit against SPAT is because he violated our public access rights. I don't know if it's legal to ask for this. Does anybody want to subsidize a chat with Glendora $200 a week? I don't know if it is legal. But first of all, we're waiting for somebody to offer it before we do the research on the legality of it. These kind of little fingers. So beautiful. Oh, look, the people think you're beautiful. And you sing so nicely. Oh, what a nice song. Where did you learn that song? Where did you learn it? There you go. I talked to, on the phone to Jim Bernas in Bernas versus Cablevision. That was stupidly treated by SPAC. Of course, I know what's going on. I don't think SPAC has a thing to say. I think it's up to the political party. And Cablevision is in the position where they say, we'll remember in November. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about donations to both parties. And so I think that when Cablevision wants something, they get it, and they don't care how many laws it breaks. That's what they did when they took a chat with Glendora off the TV in Nassau County. So they just don't care how many laws it breaks. And so they just don't care if somebody's going to go to court and take them to court because they're just going to, in the end, buy off the judge. Well, not exactly the judge, but the political party. The telephones start to ring, and the political boss gets on the phone to the judge, and the judge then tells the judge, get rid of that case against Cablevision, and the judge says to the law clerk, get out your by hook or crook tool, and get the case dismissed, or write an order, an opinion, or a memorandum to dismiss the case, and then the judge signs it, and that's the way it goes on information and belief. I had it happen to me dozens of times. It's very hard for Jim Bernas to intercept this because he went into the military, offering his life. So did Franklin. So did Coward. And that this is what it comes to. This is all it means. Punk courts. Courts that don't give you justice. probably hard for you to believe it. You know, all this talk about liberty, freedom, and all that. It's not that at all. It's about gasoline being $2.27 a gallon. A mother's son or a father's son is worth that. But that is the way it is. Under penalty of perjury, I asseverate to you that I am telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And how many courts have I been through? Well, one law clerk said it was 93, and that was what, back a month and a half ago? So I've been through maybe 7 or 8 since? No, I think it's way over that. I think it's like 150. I don't have time to count. I know that I'm up to my 1,300 legal paper. Close to it, 1,295 or something. So where were we? We were supposed to talk about happiness. And so you count pure thoughts like that, and you count blessings. You wake up in the morning, you say, you rejoice. I think rejoicing is about the best you can do. You rejoice about the night, you rejoice about your rest. It is a wonderful thing. Rejoice how you sat on the earth. And here's the sun over here in the west, and you leave it. Sun, and all night you take a nice trip on the earth. The earth is your engine. And over here in the morning, you're back to the sun. Isn't that nice? And then you sing a hymn. Breathe on them breath of God, fill them with life anew, that they may love as thou dost love, and do what thou wilt do. She probably doesn't like it the way you do. She just will not let me sing hymns. Did you see that? She got up from lying down and came over to stop me from singing hymns. We haven't found your person yet, .com. There's a person out there waiting for you. A poor, lonesome person who wants a nice kitty cat like you. Have you seen her green eyes? Here, go show the people your green eyes. Show the people your green eyes. Look up into the camera. Look into the camera. She's purring. We can get better shots of her green eyes than that. You know a funny thing about this cat? In the morning, I'll put her litter pan, if it's a nice, bright, sunny day, like the 18 days of sunshine that we had consecutively. In the morning, I'll put her litter pan out on the lawn to sanitize it and fresh it up and dry it and everything. And she will be outdoors, and she will be playing, and she'll be playing for a couple hours, and she'll come into the house and she'll meow. You want to know why? She wants her litter pan brought into the house. Then she will use it. She will not do her chores anywhere but in her litter pan in her house. I think that is so cute. And what else were we talking about? You go alone and spend your alone time with God, and you think about God, and you all the beautiful thoughts that come to you in the electromagnetic wave, and you count blessings, and you count pure thoughts. Let's see how many you can get up to. It's fun. And then when you see a person, you say, what's the happiest thing that happened to you today? Or you might even go a little further and say, what's the happiest thing this year in your whole life? When you pray and you sing hymns, there's something else, isn't there? You pray for your enemies. You say, well, how do I pray for my enemies? That's easy. You just say your enemy is Sidney Flynn. You say, here's a prayer for Sidney that he be happy, whole, and healthy, and all his present blessings continue. And it's probably sacrilegious to be pragmatic about that, but you pray for your enemies that they be one and that they lead others to be one with God. You pray for that. And it has quite a pragmatic effect for you. They come around and they be nice to you. It's 9 o'clock. No, it's 10 after 9. And, oh, this is the one. Every 15 minutes rejoice. We miss 9 o'clock. So let's go back. I rejoice that we have Cablevision and that the United States Congress made Cablevision have public access and that the municipalities made Cablevision have public access in return for dropping their cables along your streets. Okay, these are your streets. And so we are giving Cablevision permission to run their cables along our streets. Where we rejoice that we have the Public Service Commission, even though it's totally dysfunctional and totally sold out to cable operators. That's you, Flynn, you, Figliosi, you, Stephen Shea, Chad Hume, Tom Isabella. That's all of you people who have double-crossed the public and taken all of the perks and the good things that Cablevision and the other cable operators across the state of New York have dropped in your lap. Huntington, you've done a terrible thing turning over the public access to Cablevision. We all know that Cablevision is a crook through and through. We all know that these people are hired guns. We all know that they want dearly to get rid of public access because they don't want the expense of it. They want to use their money to buy boats and this and that and so forth for themselves. They don't want the money to go to the public for public access. We all know that. But it's a blessing that the municipalities in their franchises do mandate public access. And Huntington, you're so bad, what you've done. However, the contract isn't signed yet. And I say to you people in Huntington, now here's where the Crooked Public Service Commission comes in. Even though the contract with Huntington, you people in Huntington, is not renewed, and Cablevision has no right to be on your public streets with their cable. They have no right to be there at all because they don't have a franchise. And they don't have a franchise that's approved by the Public Service Commission. But the Public Service Commission just automatically hands them out a sheet and calls it a certificate of authority. And they just hand out dozens of these year after year after year. But I say to you people in Huntington, you do not have to pay your cable TV bill because Cablevision has no legal right to be operating in Huntington. No legal right to be operating in Huntington. So what were we doing? Counting our blessings. And public access is a blessing and we're going to keep it. It's a blessing to have the rain. It's a blessing to have the April flowers that John quilts. The dandelions, they're so pretty. And the daffodils. It's a blessing that I'm able to feed the black cat who's homeless and looks through the door and would kind of like to come in, but .com won't let him. Well, where else is a blessing? Television. Are you going to enter the Glendora Happy contest? Write 90 words or less, or submit any kind of a paper, 90 words or less, on happiness. The contest is over May the 2nd. That's the day after Law Day, May the 1st. And the day after my birthday, May the 1st. The decision of the judges is final. It's open to all ages. The address is Block 124, Ghent, New York. The decision of the judges is final. That's a different that terrible for a United States judge to be that bad. And I think that's it. I love your calls, except for the Friday night drunk calls, the Saturday night drunk calls. Ever since Chat with Glendora's been on TV, that's always Saturday morning. I hear these drunk calls. There used to be 9 or 10 or 12 a night, now it's only 4 or 5. And there used to be like 45 calls come in. You see, public access isn't watched as much as it used to be, neither television. People use their computers on the TV, and they use, they play games on the TV monitor. But, boy, public access is watched. I have the documentation for that. So I think that's everything. We send you our love and our prayer that you will find the oneness of God that's inside of you. All of that richness, all of that greatness, all of that wealth, all of that wisdom, all of the happiness, the peace, the attainment, the joy, the applause, the appreciation, the contentment, the settlement, that you will find all of that oneness with God, and it's yours, free. Funny thing, how we spend money for what's bad, and then we pass up what's free, which is good. And so it's all yours, that oneness, and that happiness, and that joy. And the other prayer is that you lead other people to be one. And it's 9:15. What's the blessing we're going to count? What's the joy we're going to have at 9:15? The leaves. The new leaves are coming out. I'm going to try to sing it in and see if .com will let me. No, already getting upset. Be still my soul, the Lord is on the side. Bear patiently the cross of grief for him. Lead to thy good, to order and provide. In every way, be faithful will remain. Be still my soul, thy best thy heavenly friend, whose morning path leads to a joyful end. Well, boys and girls, it's a great privilege tonight to bring to you Mr. Charles Dolan, and he's one of the pioneers of cable. Charles, just tell us, first of all, where were you born?
Cleveland, Ohio.
You were, really?
Right.
I didn't know that you were born in the Midwest. And then you grew up where? There?
In Cleveland. Stayed in Cleveland until 1952.
52?
Right, then moved to New York.
I moved to New York.
Right.
And where'd you go to school, Charles?
In Cleveland at Cleveland Heights High School and John Carroll University.
Did you really?
Right.
Bob Hope comes from Cleveland.
Yeah, yes, he does. I know that. He was born in London, but the family is from Cleveland. Right.
For sure. And after that, what was your first job out of school?
I was given a job on one of the local newspapers, the Cleveland Press.
Oh, you were?
Right. So I was paid $2 a week to write a column about the activities of the Boy Scouts. Right.
Well, that's all right.
Right.
That's a good way to start out. And then your next job?
Then I worked for a radio station in Cleveland.
And doing what?
Also writing commercials and producing
really?
programs.
Yeah,
right.
that was fun.
It was indeed.
Was
I
this-
enjoyed it.
Was this right out of high school? Or?
Well, actually, while I was going to high school.
While you were going to high
Right,
school.
I'd
And
go
then,
school in the morning and then take the bus downtown to the radio station.
Well, I think that's terrific. It was an early start. And then what did you do after that next job?
Well, we started a little newsreel about sports. This is when television itself was beginning in 1950.
That's right.
And we sold that to television stations around the country. But we didn't do it too well, I guess, because we ran out of money. But then I was offered employment by one of the companies with which we were competing, and that was Telenews here in New York.
For heaven's sakes.
So then, by that time, I was married, and so my wife Helen and I moved to New York.
And to work for Telenews.
To work for Telenews.
And what did you do for them?
We produced another sports newsreel, and I would write the scripts for it and put the sports reel together. And that sort of introduced me to the whole area of film syndication, and then we left Telenews and started our own company.
You and your wife?
Well, just me, but Helen always helped.
Good for you, Helen. Now, you see, Telenews knew that you were going to be terrible competition to you, for them, and that's why they grabbed you up, so you wouldn't be competition.
Well, you're nice to say that. I was very happy to be grabbed up.
At that point, because of the finances.
Right.
Now, then tell us more about this new enterprise.
The Cablevision, or the one we were starting
No, after remember you were with the Telenews and you left Telenews?
Right. Then we started distributing films for other people, distributing them to television stations, and we began to put together a library of films which the early television stations were very anxious to have,
yes,
because there wasn't
were.
much material then.
No, they didn't. Some of them didn't even have networks.
But we became then very fascinated with the idea of television itself, and then we were beginning to hear that you could not only broadcast television, but you could put it through a wire. So we became interested in connecting all of the hotels in New York together with a piece of wire, and sending television programming to the hotels. So in 1960, we started a service in New York which told people in their hotel rooms what was happening in New York.
Really?
And that was a service called Teleguide. And it was actually a directory for visitors to New York, an introduction to New York. And we did that for a number of years up until the World's Fair. And then we thought, well, we could do more with that wire than just service the hotels. And that caused us to consider cable television. And we applied for a franchise, and we began what is today Manhattan Cable Television.
You did?
Right.
First of all, just a second, Charles, the name of that company that when you had the wire going to all the hotels, what was the name of that company?
Teleguide.
That was called Teleguide.
Right. Teleguide on Channel 6.
On Channel 6, and
Right.
people could go into there? That must have been a great experience for them.
Well, it was. Again, it wasn't as economic as we would have liked it to have been, but what it did teach us was how to serve the buildings of New York with cable television.
With cable TV.
Right. It gave us a great deal of early experience, and that made it possible for us to organize Manhattan Cable Television.
That was its value, as you say.
Right.
Yes. And so then you started this cable company, got the franchise, and this was the beginning of Manhattan Cable TV.
That's correct.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was a great experience, a lot of work, a lot of anguish, but we loved it.
And then what was next?
Well, we then started putting programs on Manhattan Cable. We made arrangements to put the Nixon Rangers on, and then we started motion pictures, and then we organized a network to provide these same programs to other cable systems, and that was the beginning of home box office.
It was?
All right.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
And that started in 1972.
1972.
Right.
And what a job to try to wire Manhattan
Yes, it was.
for cable.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult then because we didn't then have the excellent equipment that cable television has today. So it was much more difficult to build the system than it is today to build a cable system in an urban area.
This is also interesting. So what came after that?
Well, we finally sold Manhattan Cable and Home Box Office to Time Incorporated, And then we went out to the suburbs of New York and began another cable service called Cablevision,
That's your Cablevision, huh?
which is, and we're still doing that. Right.
Now, what locale was that?
Well, Long Island, and then we expanded it to Connecticut, to parts of Westchester, New Jersey. We're now in Boston, Cleveland, Toledo, Kalamazoo, Chicago.
Haven't you done well? You have a huge number of subscribers. What is it?
Well, we by the end of the year, with all of the new arrangements completed, we'll have 1 million subscribers.
Wow.
Right.
Now, these towns in Long Island, Mr. Dolan, the names of the towns?
Well, we serve all of Nassau County.
Oh, the whole county?
Right.
Ooh.
And the westernmost part of Suffolk County and East Hampton and Montauk.
Wow. And then the ones in Connecticut, I think I remember some of those. Westport,
Well,
Stamp.
we service the area, all of Fairfield County,
All of
the area from the New York State border out to past Bridgeport, from Greenwich out through Bridgeport.
From Greenwich all the way out to Bridgeport.
Right.
And how far north? Well, of course, Fairfield County goes way up. It goes up to New Milford and all those places.
Right. There are many other cable companies, of course,
I see.
serving Connecticut, and we
Yeah.
join them.
You know, Mr. Dolan is a friend of Mr. Bresnan. You remember when Mr. Bresnan came to see you? And Mr. Bresnan started out early in cable.
Oh, Bill Bresnan is a pioneer in cable television. He was associated with the early teleprompter company. Teleprompter built the other part of Manhattan, and it was one of the early, very large, very important companies in cable.
My goodness, you've known each other a long time.
We have.
I think that year you mentioned was 1960? When you started around building up the Manhattan cable TV system?
That was that started in 1961.
61,
Right.
yes, you're right. And now Mr. Dolan's company, Cablevision, has just bought the cable system and name me those towns in Westchester, because the boys and girls live there.
Dutchess County, Portchester,
Harrison.
I believe, yes.
Yep.
And we are now we operate a system in the city of Yonkers in Westchester.
Oh, you do?
Right.
Oh, that's right. You have Cablevision of Yonkers.
Right.
Yes, you do. And what else in Westchester? Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, well, that's a plenty. Now, this is Mr. Charles Dolan, and he's the founder of Cablevision, along with a whole lot of other things. And when he comes back, boys and girls, he's going to tell you what his work consists like, to see if you'd like a cable career, and then he's going to give you some advice on how to get started in cable television. And this is a chat with Glendora. Mr. Dolan, could you give us an idea of the flavor and excitement of your work?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. There's so much involved in cable television. One, you are putting together programs that you believe that people who are your subscribers will want to see. So we have organized sports programming. We telecast all of the games of the Islanders, and we do the Yankees and the Mets and the Devils and the Nets and so forth. And we enjoy putting those programs together, doing those telecasts. And we have another service called Bravo, which is the performing arts and international film, and still another American movie classics, which are the great films of all time. So we have that programming aspect. We produce our own news programs. We do programs that tell people about all of the channels that we have, etc. So there is the idea of programming, which is a very important part of cable television, and then there is the marketing side of it, which is presenting all of that to potential subscribers and persuading them to become subscribers. And that involves direct sales, direct mail marketing, telephoning, etc. It is a different kind of marketing experience, and many of the people who are with us really enjoy that more than anything else and spend their careers doing that.
Do they? Mm-hmm.
And then the financial side, cable television involves the expenditure of large sums of money. So that we need people who can relate to banks and investors, and understanding the economics of cable television is by itself a specialty, and communicating those that understanding to others. And then we have the technical side of cable, the how to build a cable system, to maintain it, to operate it, how to improve it, providing greater channel capacity, putting facilities into the subscriber's home that enable them to respond to us and to order films on a pay-per-view basis. And the other important improvements that we're anticipating in cable, it is a great experience for people who are technically oriented and who like communications. So cable is one industry, but it is multifaceted,
Yes.
and there are all kinds of very different career opportunities under the umbrella of cable.
Well, I think that's fascinating, and you love every minute of it, don't you?
I do. We find it very challenging sometimes, but
Yes.
I can't imagine a business or an activity I would rather be involved in.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I don't think that you and I made it clear. You own Sports Channel.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, Sports Channel, Bravo, and what was the third one?
Sports Channel, Bravo, American Movie Classics, News 12. These are all program services that are offered via cable.
Yes.
And we provide those to other cable systems, and our cable system carries programs that are created by
Yes.
other cable
Right.
systems.
Well, Charles Dolan, that's a thrill to me to hear all that. Now, will you tell the boys and girls a good way to get started in cable TV as it is today?
Well, I think the best way to become involved in cable is to recognize what you're enthusiastic about, what skills you have, and to develop those, regardless of what they might be, and then to examine the cable industry and find out how you can relate skills, and then talk to people in cable about what you do and what you do well and what you want to do in the future. I think that is the most effective way to come to cable, because the industry now needs people with skills and ambition and people who are genuinely interested in careers in cable and the future of our industry.
Oh. I think the people in cable TV would be pretty responsive to the youth, don't you?
Well, the industry is growing. We're employing more and more people. And again, anybody interested in cable should recognize the very strong divisions of interest within cable, and they should single one of those out and come to cable with the idea of being involved in a specific part of cable. That will make that person more interesting to their prospective employer
yeah.
in cable.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the youth, Mr. Dolan?
Just like to encourage everybody, absolutely continue with your studies, develop your own potential, whether it's cable or something else. It's you that is finally the most important aspect of it.
Oh, we thank you so much for taking time. You're a busy, busy man, but to hear it from you is a great honor. We appreciate it, Mr. Dolan.
Thank you for having me, Glendora.
You bet. Bye now.
Bye. I want you to go over.
Welcome to a chat with Glendora, America's champion of pro se litigants' rights and First Amendment rights. Stay tuned, we will be right back with our show.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Who are we? Acorn! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Who are we? Acorn! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
They have portable red lights. Very clever. Last week they were doing the other side. Rock. And there's the Catskills in the distance. We're going to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. .com 8 a whole can of fried chicken. One of the great big cans. $7 in a week. Going to get more. This is Route 9H. This is really the old Albany-Boston Post Road. And this is April 25. 2005 out of Dominique.
Yes, so that was cool.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Glendora.
This is my vegetarian kitty.
Oh.
Actually, she's vegan. She won't eat any dairy. And in the last Monday night, I was here, and I bought a big can of fried chicken, $7. She ate the whole thing last week. So I'm back. I'm going to buy 2 more cans.
Oh.
She loves fried chicken. Now, I'm trying to find her person. We rescued her from the woods, and I've taken care of her for, many months. There's a person out there who wants this kitty.
I might have somebody for you.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, I might have somebody for you in Rhinebeck.
Oh.
I will give.
I got
We'll do numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, right after you'll get the information.
Her name is .com. .com.
You know, these classes amaze me. There's something new in every class. Now we're matching kitties. Kitties to owners, that's great. Somebody else. Yes.
Linda and I got together.
Here we go.
Oh, that's the microphone.
She's not standing up, folks.
So I get the microphone.
Okay.
Linda and I got together, 2 weeks ago? And we each made something, and we got together and had dinner together with my husband. So we had a good meal on Sunday, fellowship together, and it was great. Great.
Sorry. That's okay.
Did you want to add?
I didn't hear a word you said.
Oh, wait. Well, Linda and I each decided and we had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful walked. Oh, and we walked too. Yes, we did. We took a walk.
What'd you have to eat?
What did you eat, she's saying?
Which one did you made this?
I made the
Put it in front of her.
I made the broccoli salad,
Mm.
and it was very good. And then I had to, of course, as always, I'm the dessert person.
Yes.
So
Oh, yes.
I made a chocolate tofu pie with peanut butter chips on the bottom.
Oh, it was so
Tofu
good.
whipped cream.
I need that recipe.
What's your address?
Yeah. Oh, it was delicious. And I made the sausage-style quiche.
The what?
The sausage-style quiche.
Great.
Yeah, it came out great.
Oh,
That
great.
was Brenda's recipe, Deborah's recipe, right?
Yeah.
The sausage-style quiche, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. She made it and loved it.
Came out very good.
It's wonderful
I bet
when
that's
you try
good.
things out. We are just so happy about that. No, I don't think anybody else actually. Max had something to say, but his voice carries.
My wife made something that we learned here, and I enjoy it very much. There's broccoli, there's pasta, there's something else, nuts, And every time I eat it, I just love it.
Very good.
Me too.
It's something from another class. Yeah. Anyway, and again, please, those of you who have not, the books, look at the books. You have a book list. My books are there in my library, but in the back, I mean, clear in the back, there are all kinds of papers that this may be their last day they see the light of day. And we'd like to, give them to people, okay? I think it's important that they get out. And I just am cleaning house. I got to get rid of some things. I'd like to now tell you, first of all, I promised to do this too. We want to apologize for the looks of our hallway as you come in. Our furnace has been down, and it's been leaking, actually. And we couldn't have heat in here last Sabbath, and it got a little chilly upstairs. But anyway, we are getting the furnace fixed, and that's why they are here, and we're so happy they're here, because we do have a church school down here, and we need it. So that's why it's messy, and I was asked to help people. We apologize for that. And also, I'd just like to explain a few things that I've given you tonight. We'd like you to fill out the evaluation form, please, and hand it in. And when you hand it in, and you already have done it, when you hand it in, you'll get one of those little booklets. Okay, we need, and we have a meeting, folks, next Wednesday night, all those health ministry team meetings. We go over the evaluations, and we plan what we're going to do already for the next September. Then, I found this. And I think, really, we need to be label watchers, okay? You need to be label watchers. And this paper here tells you about what you might find in a label, especially a simple food label checklist on this side. And you may see something. If you are vegan, you have to look very carefully for the possible egg whites or traces. Sometimes food is made in the same container that other foods have been made, and even if it isn't a wheat product, if you're allergic to wheat, it may say may contain wheat, because why don't they wash them out? I'm infection control, I would do something like that. But anyway, so this is something you need to look at, check for the facts, the serving size, the vitamins and minerals, and so forth. So I thought that would be interesting. And there's definitions too, free, low, high, good, and so forth. And then, this is one of my favorites. And I wonder, the bingo, we're not playing it tonight, but I looked and looked and looked, and all know that I've had problems finding time to walk. Well, today I did a 9:15 to 5:15 at the nursing home, doing infection control, and I literally power walked through the building, up and down and around, and getting the facts and coming down. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm exercising." So I got it in, and I got out. One day I was out, and another day, maybe 4 days, this week. Last week I didn't do so good. But it's something we need to do. And even, I'm a health educator, I know what's right, but I think somebody here mentioned, the man too, you need to get your priorities straight. And one of them really is exercising. And maybe you can't because of a physical condition, and you have to have your doctor, check you out. But walking is something almost everybody can do. Just walking is something. And again, walking in the fresh air. When we wind up tonight, we're going to go over the 8 natural remedies again, and we want to remember, again, the water and other things. We'll do that. But so I looked here, and you know what you do in bingo? You either go straight or across. I eat applesauce. I walk. Okay, see, this week I can say I walk. Bananas every morning. My breakfast consists of oatmeal with raisins. Sometimes I have Cheerios to whatever, or shredded wheat, but it's mostly oatmeal with raisins and bananas on the top, and 5 little apricots, because that's a serving. And then I cut up 1 apple, and I do peel the apple. I don't know if it's been sprayed or not. I peel the apple. And then this morning I had strawberries on top. And the folks who were supposed to come this weekend and didn't, I'm taking advantage of those strawberries I bought for them. So and then I go to a Linda's store, Catskill Farm, and I always buy the Ezekiel 4:9 bread, and that's what I have toasted.
with better than cream cheese urban chives. In the beginning, I thought, that doesn't make sense with fruit, but now I love it. You know, I love it together. That's the only thing I buy. So that's a breakfast. Then during the day, you eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and supper like a pauper. And these are just things we've talked about, just kind of reviewing it. Reviewing the fact that if you're sitting down at 7 or 8 o'clock to a real heavy meal, that meal is going to sit in your stomach all through the night. It makes interfere with your sleep, and also when it stays long enough in your stomach, what happens if you have a garbage bag that sits in your kitchen for a week?
Food rots.
Food rot, and it can rot in your stomach too, and that's important. And with the things I ate, the fruit I ate for lunch, I have a big salad and stuff. The thing is the fiber too. You need to have things with fiber, so look at that. Again, that ties back to looking at labels. But then there's grapes, which I had last week, and cabbage or broccoli. So these are things. So I'd like you to kind of look at it sometime when you have a chance.
Where is it?
It's this one here. It's one of the extra things that you got off the table. And see if you can do that. Now I just want to...
I have a question.
Yes?
On the bottom of the bingo thing, I'd like to know here in this classroom, how many people throw a pot? That bottom line across. Right here, throw a pot.
The bottom line across mine says, tried a bingo is completed when you have the line diagonal.
It says walk, beans, raisins, and then throw a pot and
Oh,
cabbage.
that's clay making. And they put little zingers in there. This is actually something I got from the dietitian at work. She thought I'd like it. So I don't have any other reference
it's like
to go
brush
by.
your kitty.
Yeah.
You're brushing your
Yeah,
kitty.
now brushing the kitty, but if you don't have a kitty, so then you have to go some other route. But it's straight up and it's diagonal. Okay. Now I just want to, before we have our first demonstration, and I have maybe about 5 minutes here, I wanted to go over some of these things. Unfortunately, our Korean vegetable stir-fry treat with garlic sauce lady, Vivian, was taken to the emergency room today. Yeah. And we don't quite know what happened. Is she back? Does anybody know if she's back home or is she still there? We don't know. No. Sally wants to pick her up. She wasn't there.
I want to show you. Some of you who may not know, when you buy the refried beans, if you don't buy the fat-free, you're going to have lard in it. So, here again, read the ingredients.
Gross.
But if you don't buy the fat-free, it's going to have lard in it. And then here are the little green chilies. Somebody said to me, oh, they're going to be so hot. This is going to be so hot. This is not hot. This is the mild chilies. It just gives it a little zing, but it's not hot. So that's that. Now, how many around here, other than our church members here, know what a haystack is? A lot of them know what haystacks are.
It's something you can't find a needle in.
What did you eat? A haystack that you eat.
Not in the field now.
What we do is we start them with chips, and then we put beans, and then we just kind of like this. But this is a little different. The gal, the Brenda Walsh, who has this recipe, she said her husband called it a traveling taco because she would make it when they would go to somebody's house, and he said you're traveling for it. So that's so far the reason for the name. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to take the refried beans. We're going to start, it says, to do it as the ingredients are listed. Now, I have to tell you, I haven't made this. I shouldn't be so honest. Okay, honey.
Hey, honey.
You're just cousins. You're not funny. And
that's his cousin, really, truly.
You're really truly.
We can't see.
You can't. Why, is my head in the way?
Yeah.
See now?
Let's that better. Move it over. Yeah, there. Beauty it. Okay, honey, dump that.
Go ahead, honey. And this is the tofutti better than sour cream. It's good. I think it's good. No, you don't need it. And we use it on baked potatoes. We use it on almost anything that you would use sour cream. And it's really very good. Okay. Now, is that what the next one is? Okay, here's your guacamole.
Where's the taco shell?
Underneath. I left it at home. I don't know how to make guacamole, or I would have. But
Avocado.
and that's it, Jane?
No. No. A little tomato, a little onion.
And maybe a little garlic and that's
Garlic,
it.
No, that's not it.
Cilantro. I just wanted to turn around with that.
A little cumin.
A little cumin.
Yeah.
There you go.
Write it down. Please.
Where did you buy this made?
Where did I buy what?
That made, the guacamole already made.